what is the best martial art for self-defense? Um, many videos up on YouTube with people giving you their view on it, and I guarantee if you train boxing, you will tell me that boxing is the best art. If you train Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you'll say Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is the best art, so on and so forth. The truth of the matter is there is no one singular art that is the overall best. It does not exist. If your goal is to become a professional boxer, boxing is the best martial art to train. If your goal is to win an Olympic gold medal in Taekwondo, then Taekwondo is the best art to train. When it comes to self-defense and overall match fighting, such as MMA, there is no one singular art that is the best. The clue with MMA is the first M stands for mixed. It needs to be a composite of different things. So you need to have good stand-up striking, you need to have good stand-up grappling, you need to have good takedowns, which also includes takedown defense, and you need to have good groundwork. Groundwork, of course, is not just submissions, but also positions, pins, and striking from the ground, and escapes. So the idea that this one art is the very best martial art in the world, it's nonsense. You pick a martial art because it's the one that you find to be the most enjoyable for you. So, if your goal is to learn a martial art for self-defense, in terms of I live in a bad area or my work puts me in front of bad people, then you need to have a good cross-section of stand-up and grappling. So again, for that purpose, I would say boxing, Thai boxing, judo, Greco-Roman, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You then need to take each of those different styles and put them through the filter of a live street scenario, knowing that there's certain things and certain aspects from each style that we cannot incorporate or employ in a legitimate self-defense. It's on the street, anyone could join in, anyone could pull a weapon type of situation. If your goal is to become a mixed martial arts fighter, then I would imagine that you're probably going to be training in boxing, maybe Thai boxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and amateur wrestling. Because these are the styles in each area that provide the highest percentage rate of actually winning the scrap. You also then, of course, need to, if you're training, let's say you're training Greco-Roman wrestling with the aspiration of using that Greco-Roman wrestling in an MMA contest. You need to change certain things about what you do, because as you're training that Greco-Roman wrestling, you're going to, in MMA, be taking leg kicks and maybe punches to the face. If you're training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for MMA, I would hope you're being smart enough to do no-gi, because if every time you get a choke, your favourite choke on the ground, your favourite strangle is with a collar, and then you suddenly get into MMA and they're not wearing a jacket, you're going to become a cropper. So again, it's taking each individual style and seeing what has the highest percentage of success rate for what you want to do for. So with self-defense, you can show me a Joe Rogan or a Michael Jai White spinning back kick where they boom take the bag off the chain. Very impressive. What are the chances that you're going to be able to do that in a real self-defense situation where you're wearing shoes that might not have the best grip for the surface you're on? The surface you're on might be very uneven. You might not have the space to throw that type of kick. Think of the last time back in the days when we could go into pubs or clubs where you're crowded and you haven't got you've barely got space to throw an insult, let alone a big spinning leg kick. The trousers you're wearing, have they got the actual space in the hips for you to be able to throw that type of thing? So yeah, you can show me one technique from that looks really super impressive, and if you get hit with that, you're done for. Yeah, but the chances are he's not going to be able to land that. So each person will obviously tell me that the style they are heavily involved in is the absolute best for self-defense. It's not. There is no one best for self-defense. A good case in point, a lot of grapplers, a lot of groundwork guys will say, certainly BJJ guys will say BJJ is the absolute best martial art on the planet. Well, if someone follows you into a toilet cubicle in a nightclub to start punching your head in, then it's not, because you haven't got the space to take them down. You haven't got the space to wrestle on the ground. Close quarters like that, you're looking at either boxing or your elbows from Thai boxing. Flip side of that, if you've got a massive space, and you've got nobody else around for miles, then if you can take that guy down to the ground and you're the better grappler, then yeah, BJJ will work very, very effectively in that situation, which is why we need a nice cross-section of everything. There's no one specific singular art that is the best when we're talking about self-defense. If you're looking at specific competition, then yeah, there is one. Obviously, as I've mentioned, boxing for boxers, taekwondo for taekwondo, judo if you're going to become a world champion in judo. But self-defense, which is what our bud is concerned with, there is no one overall defense. Every martial art that we train with our buds, such as boxing, Thai boxing, Greco-Roman, judo, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, they have their strengths, but they have their weaknesses. You have to be smart enough and strong enough and honest with yourself enough to say, this style, as much as I love it, has a weakness. This is its weakness. What other styles are very strong in the area that this is weakest? So if you've got a whole bunch of bricks, you can put together a wall, but if you haven't got cement, the wall's going to blow over. You can have a big tub of cement, but if you haven't got any bricks, that's not going to build your wall. You need both cement and the bricks to build a wall, to build a strong structure. So, being a big judo guy, I know even still, come in to try and grab hold of you. If against a boxer, you might take a couple of shots to the face. If you're trying to grab hold of them and they're not wearing a jacket, you come a cropper. I've gone over in other videos about what no-gi judo should be. Look that up. Again, with boxing, if you've got the range, which you probably will have of 18 inches, and you go first, that's great. If you slip or whatever, or if the numbers game becomes a factor and you get taken down, then boxing, you put a boxer on their ass and they can't fight. Simple as that. You get really good takedown defense against the wrestler or a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, they're out of their element, they're fucked. Look at Mirko Krokop and Mark Coleman back in Pride for that. Yeah, striker versus grappler. Again, I know now that as I say this, there's going to be grapplers out there going, yeah, but what my takedown defense is fucking awesome. I can take anyone down. Great. That's great in a match fight, in a one-on-one fight. That doesn't work so much for the numbers game, for the weapons game, for the environment you're in. You might not have the space to take the person down. Now I know people can be saying, yeah, but even if I can just prop them up and I can get this choke on, that's fantastic. Please feel free to give it to me in in-depth detail, because I'm a student myself. I like to learn. What I'm telling you from my own experiences and from the experiences of the people who have been doing it for much, much longer than I have, I've been very blessed to be taught by some of the all-time greats. You need to have multiple ranges. No one thing is going to cover everything. Okay, so for that type of element, for that type of thing, there is no one specific best martial art for self-defense. Again, as always, I openly invite everybody, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me, if you have no real opinion one way or another, if you can see both sides of the story, which hopefully you can, please comment. If there's any questions about anything in particular, please leave a comment. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Until next time, train smart, train safe, stay safe.